Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Mrs. Lehman here in my 4th period class again. Today we're going to learn about ratio tables and finding the value of ratio tables. So we are on lesson, what is this, 10 or 11? Either way, we're on page 30 of our notebook. No, we're not. We're on page 29. Just kidding, everybody. Page 29, lesson 11. All right, so we are going to go to that page, which is right here, comparing ratios using ratio tables. And we're going to do this by finding the value of each ratio table. So in case you missed that lesson or memo, when we find the value of a ratio table, we are looking for the ratio that that entire table is based on. We are putting that in lowest terms. So as a fraction, it would be in simplest form or lowest term. So we're going to actually skip the first thing, and we're going to go right here to where it says write a ratio to describe the relationship shown in the table. So they tell us in 2 hours there are 16 pizzas sold, and it goes on from there. 5 hours, 40 pizzas. So we need to simplify those ratios down. Every ratio in a ratio table should have the same value. What is that value? Who can tell me what those would all simplify down to? Trisha.
216.
Okay, she said 216, which is a common answer I've been getting, but you're missing one part where we need to simplify that down. It's got to be the lowest terms, okay? So
1/8.
1 to 8, very good. So as a fraction, Drake said 1/8. We're going to say it like a ratio, 1 to 8. All right? Does everybody see what we did there? All right, any questions? All right, we are going to now move on to the following example in exercise 1, where we have people texting absurd amounts, okay? It says the following tables show how many words each person can text in a given amount of time. Compare the rates of texting for each person using the ratio table. So they give us a bunch of numbers here for Michaela, Jenna, Maria, and we're going to complete the table for Max in a bit. But to compare these, one method that we can use, which will always work for you, is to find the value of the ratio table. Simplify it down and then compare those ratios, okay? So we're actually finding the unit rate. We're finding the number of words per minute, all right? So in 1 minute, how many words would Michaela be able to text? How many words in 1 minute, if she does 150 in 3 minutes, how many would she be able to do in 1 minute?
50.
50. Very good, LJ. How did you get 50? Very good. You look for the greatest common factor of each of those numbers. In this case, it would be 3. You're going to divide the top and the bottom by that number. You would say 3 divided by 3 is 1. 150 divided by 3 is 50. So if you know how to simplify fractions, you'll be all set. So in 1 minute, there were 50 words that Michaela texted. Let's go ahead and do Jenna's unit rate. All right, so in 1 minute, how many words would Jenna have been able to text? Take a second to figure that out. Maria?
45.
45 is correct. Who else got 45? Very good. When you see even numbers, right, you know it's always divisible by 2, and you can keep going from there. So Jenna was 2 minutes for 90 words, or 1 minute to do 45 words. Any questions so far? Does anyone have any questions on where we got those numbers? We're just simplifying it down. Okay, so when you see this ratio right here, 2 to 90, right? We notice that the 2 and the 0 are both even numbers, right? So that means we can simplify it more. They're both divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. If you take 90 and divide it by 2, you would get that, bring that down. So you do the division, and we know that that would be 45. So if we took 4 times 45, guess what we would get? 180, yeah. And if we took 6 times 45, we'd get 270. 8 minutes times 45 for every minute, we would get 360. All right, let's do a quick fist to 5 on that. So fist meaning 0, you have no idea what's going on. 1, you understand it a little. 2, you're struggling. 3, maybe, okay. 4, you're pretty sure. 5, you could teach it to somebody this evening. Okay, I'm seeing lots of 4s and 5s being held up right now. Okay, we're going to keep doing some more examples, and hopefully all of those 4s will turn into 5s here. All right, so Maria, we have 3 to 120. So we need to simplify that. Dylan, how would we simplify that?
1 to 40.
1 to 40, very good. So for 1 minute, she can text 40 words. Okay, so we have these 3 ratios. So far, who is the fastest texter? Who is the fastest texter? Mia.
Michelle.
Michelle. Why?
Because she has 1 out of 50 and everyone else is under the 45.
Very good. Yeah, so she can do 50 words. Jenna was only 45 and Maria was 40. Max, it does not give us that info, but it does tell us that Max has a texting rate of 55 words per minute. So you'll notice it says per minute and it doesn't tell you how many minutes, but there is a number implied there. What number is implied when you see per minute and there's no number? Genevieve.
1.
Very good. It was the same when we saw the words for every and then a number wasn't given. That means 1 is implied. Okay? For every, oh, the kids are all pointing to the ratio alert button. So when we see the words for every, or say the words for every in our math class, we do this. Which tells us that there is a ratio ahead. So, let's, they actually gave us the ratio by telling us it's 55 words per minute. What would the minute to word ratio be? 1 to what? Trisha.
55?
Perfect. Yeah, so let's fill this chart out for Max. 1 minute, 55 words. What would 2 minutes be? 2 minutes would be what, Nathan?
2 minutes and 110 words.
2 would be what again?
It would be 2 minutes and 110 words.
Very good, 110 words. All right, 3 minutes. Who can tell me what 3 minutes would be? Dylan.
165.
Very good, 165. And we could go on all day, but we're going to stop after 4 minutes. And lastly, it would be what for 4 minutes?
230?
Not 230. What are we adding to 165? We're adding 55, right? So that would be 220? 220, good LJ. So 220. And that would go right there. Okay, so we needed to answer the question. We had to compare the rates. So who is the fastest out of these 4 people? The fastest, Katie, is?
Max.
He's a maniac. 55 words per minute. Who is in second place for this terrible contest? Trisha?
Michaela.
Michaela. Yeah, very good. Michaela. And then, it does look like that, doesn't it? Kind of. Genevieve.
Jenna.
And last, the person who lost this texting battle was
Maria.
All right, we're going to move on, guys, to our next example of making juice. So we have some people making juice here. The tables show the comparison of the amount of water to the amount of juice concentrate. So it's going to give you water, juice concentrate, and then they gave us this table, or part of the table, this column called total. And all that's saying is if you have 12 cups of water and 4 cups of juice, that means you've got 16 cups of this mixture that you've made, okay? We're not going to really do much with that. What we're going to do is find the value of each of these ratio tables. So we have 3 people, Laredo, Franca, and Milton. All right, so some fun names. Laredo, kids last year told me that sounds like a perfume or a cologne commercial, and that it was somebody riding a horse off into the sunset, and there's a lovely lady there that would whisper his name into the air, Laredo. So, Laredo. All right, anyway, and then we have Franca and Milt. All right? So, now that we've had that little chuckle, we are going to move on to finding the value of these ratio tables. 12 to 4. What would the water to juice ratio be there in its most simplest form if we have 12 to 4? So essentially you're simplifying this fraction. 12 to 4. Maria.
3 to 1.
Very good. 3 to 1. Does everybody see where we got 3 to 1? Okay, so 3 parts water, 1 part juice. Let's compare that to Franca. We've got to simplify it. Water to juice is 10 to 2. That would simplify down to what, Dylan?
5 to 1.
5 to 1. Very good. So far, who's got the more watered down mixture? Laredo or Franca? Who's got the watery juice mixture?
Franca.
Franca, yeah. Milton is going to be using a recipe of what?
7 to 1.
We have 8 to 2. So if we simplify 8 to 2, what would that be?
4 to 1.
Very good. 4 to 1. Okay? So 4 to 1. He is doing a little bit of a different recipe as well. So put the juices in order from the juice containing the most water to the juice containing the least water. So who has, again, the most watery juice concoction out of the 3 gentlemen?
Franca's.
Very good. Franca is Franca. Doesn't matter. Franca is trying to water it down so he can not be overwhelmed by the taste of this juice, I guess. Then we have who next? Who is the middle?
Milton.
Milton in the middle. Yep, very good. My buddy Milt. All right, and then last but certainly not least, please say it as it would be said in the commercial. Who's willing to do that? All right, LJ. Perfect, Laredo, he said. All right. Laredo doesn't mess around. He's got some really strong juice. Okay, so explain how you use the values in the table to determine the order. So we simplified all those values, right? So how can we say this? We'll put we simplified the ratios to see who added the most water for 1 part juice. I'm going to pause this while I answer the phone. Maybe. Or they're going to hang up. Okay, I am back. Welcome back. All right, it says what ratio is used to create each table. So we already did this. So Laredo, he used a ratio. I knew I was going to do that. He used a ratio of 3 to 1. So we're just going to transfer that info down here. Laredo, 3 to 1. Milt was in the middle. He used a ratio of what, Caleb?
4 to 1.
Very good, 4 to 1. And Franca used a ratio of everybody? 5 to 1. Very good, 5 to 1. All right, so explain how the ratio could help you compare the juices. So we found it's kind of the same answer that we used above. We are finding if we have 1 part juice, how much water was used to make their lemonade mixture. So it's kind of the same answer. We're not going to spend any more time on that because we need to go over your homework from yesterday. Let's look back. I may actually pause the video and come back to you next period. Thank you guys. In case you missed me for that 2.5 seconds while this was on pause, a whole new class came in, and now we're going to go over your homework with period 6. So if everyone from period 6 could say hello. Hello. All right. We are on page 26, so if everyone could make sure they're on that page, we are going to quickly go through this. We've already looked at it, but we'll go over it together. It's still there. Now it's going to go away again. Okay. So let's create a ratio table for making lemonade with a lemon juice to water ratio of 1 to 3. So lemon juice is first, water second, 1 to 3. You need to show how much lemon juice would be needed if you use 36 cups of water. So yesterday we looked at ratio tables and we looked at the relationship between the columns. So if we have lemon juice and water, and we know that ratio is 1 to 3, we figured out that we could multiply to get from one column to the other. What could we multiply 1 by to get 3? It's a pretty tough math question. 1 times what equals 3, Cam?
3.
Very good. All right, so Cam unlocked the secret to this ratio table. She knows if she multiplies her lemon juice by 3, she'll know exactly how much water to put in that wonderful lemonade. So you could have had lots of different numbers here as far as how much lemon juice and water you want to use, but as long as it always simplifies down to 1 to 3, you have succeeded. So 2, what would the water be if we have lemon juice of 2? Stephanie?
6.
Very good. All right, so 6 goes here. You could have used other examples throughout as long as you can multiply the lemon juice by 3 to get your water. It told us that there are 36 cups of water, right? So I need to make sure I put that over here. A lot of children put that in the wrong place. That'll goof you up, all right? So now you're thinking, what number right here times 3 would give you 36?
12.
12, very good. So we're kind of looking at it in reverse. So instead of multiplying by 3, we are dividing by 3. Very good. Here, I'm going to put the microphone up to you, Brianna. Go ahead.
I did the same thing except I just used the number 4.
What? Well, no, don't use the number 4. Oh, that's what you messed up. Okay. So Brianna is confessing to her mistake. It is times 3. Do you understand, Brianna, why it's times 3 and not times 4? Okay, so when you see that there's 1 part lemon juice, 3 parts water, we're looking, how do we get from 1 to 3? And you multiply by 3, not by 4, okay? You got the 4, I think, by adding the 1 and the 3, didn't you? Yeah, we're not doing that, okay? Do not add the 1 and the 3. What that would tell you is, let's say it was 1 cup of lemon juice and 3 cups of water, that you'd have a total of 4 cups, okay? All right. What is the value of the ratio used to create the table? So again, what is that ratio in simplest form? Somebody please tell me that. What's the ratio in simplest form? Riley?
1/3.
1/3, or we would say 1 to 3, right? Now we're on question 30. It says Ryan made a table to show how much blue and red paint he mixed to get the shade of purple he will use to paint his room. He wants to use the table to help 36, and red 9. So who can tell me what the simplified ratio is there? What is that whole entire table based off of? Nadia.
12 to 3.
12 to 3. Is that in simplest form though? No, so when you find the value, you've got to put it in simplest form. So can you simplify that for me? I'll help you guys. So 12 to 3. Think of it like a fraction. And then you're looking for the greatest common factor for each of those numbers, right? And then you're going to divide that out. So the greatest common factor is 3. So you're going to divide the top and bottom by 3. That would give you what? 4. And then 3 divided by 3 is 1. So you would say this had a value of 4 to 1, blue to red. So that should have been your answer here, okay? A lot of people put 12 to 3, 20 to 5, or one of those numbers. You need to simplify it for it to be the value of that ratio. Whoops. Okay. And then how are the values in each row related to each other? So rows go across. So what do we do? I'm going to scroll up again so you can see that. What do we have to do to blue to get red? Cam.
Divide by 4.
Very good. So we need to take, so we would say blue is how many times the red? 4, yeah. So the blue is 4 times the red. Does anyone dare to tell what the red would be? The red is what fraction of the blue? Yeah.
Multiply. I mean, no, it's one fraction of the blue.
It is a fraction. What fraction?
1.
Nope, it's not 1 times it. We are dividing it by what?
4.
4. So we would say it's times
4.
1/4.
4.
So 1/4. Well, do you see that, Brianna? Okay, so blue is 4 times the red. Red is 1/4 of the blue. So if we take our blue, divide it by 4, that's going to give us our red amount. Okay? How are the values in each column related? So for the blue, what did they go up by each time over here? More than 4. 12 to 20 is a jump of how many? 8. Yep. So blue jumped by 8. While the red did what? Very good. While red jumped by 2. So there you have it. Any questions on this? All right, I think that will conclude my YouTube video for today. Thank you all for watching, and I please hope that you like this video and hopefully subscribe so you can keep up with our class. Thank you. Have a good day. Everyone say goodbye. Bye.